to get an engineering degree in any other major or minor, it would take you anywhere from 5 to 6 years. You're probably not very likely to pursue that degree or that combination of degrees. So that's the problem we were faced with here with our university curriculum optimization model. I'm Patrick Massey, and this is Stephen Davies, and today we'll be discussing our solution to this problem. First, we're going to talk a little bit about the problem summary, and then a little bit of the background description of that problem. Then we'll go into the analysis of the situation and how we applied our model, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the input and the model, as well as the output from that, and then our conclusions and results that we found. Okay, so the basis of this problem was that in 2012, SMU changed from general education curriculum to a university curriculum. And this is the liberal arts part of your degree. So if you're doing engineering, management, you also have these general classes that you have to satisfy. So before it was kind of cut and dry what you needed under the GEC. You needed your Englishes and your 5 and 6 perspectives and some CS and so on. And so now with the UC, it's a little more vague in the sense that you don't really know which specific classes to take. You just have to know that you have to satisfy all these different tags. And we'll go into that. Stephen will explain that in a few slides. But so it's kind of created a little bit of a few problems. So for example, engineering students' areas of studies are pretty limited right now in that there's not really any possible combinations for double majors, triple majors, or majors and minors because of the added time that students are seeing with the UC. So again, the goal of our project was to minimize the number of courses that you would take to satisfy. We actually focused on electrical engineering because we needed to kind of have a specific goal in mind, and they seemed to be the ones that were suffering the most. So we wanted to have a minimum number of courses that could satisfy all the EE degree requirements as well as the UC degree requirements. And we kind of wanted to see some overlap, which Stephen will explain later. And to do this, we decided to use GAMS along with many other projects. And the reason we chose this was because we wanted to do a goal programming, which GAMS makes pretty easy with the constraints. And we wanted to do a minimization model in GAMS using the constraints that we'll explain on the next slide.
So now I'm going to talk about the background and description of the problem. As you can see here, this is more of a visual of what the university curriculum looks like. Here at the bottom, you can see the foundations that are required, that students are required to take. They're required to take 2 to 1 courses that satisfy each of these foundations. Above the foundations are 5 pillars where students are required to take 2 courses that satisfy each pillar. And above the pillar are proficiencies and experiences where students are required to take 1 to 2 courses that satisfy each one of the proficiencies and experiences. Fortunately for them, their capstone was removed. It was similar to our senior design process, but I guess it was removed for all intents and purposes. And just to review, we're going to be focusing on the EE degree plan. We'll be using GAMS, where we'll minimize the number of courses taken while still meeting the electrical engineer course requirements and the university curriculum requirements. This can also be called a set covered problem. Now to analyze the situation, try to make it as simple as possible for you guys to understand. The blue part of the Venn diagram are courses that satisfy just EE requirements. The red part of the Venn diagram shows courses that satisfy just university curriculum requirements. And in the middle are courses that satisfy both electrical engineering requirements and the university curriculum requirements. So in theory, we're maximizing the number of courses that satisfy both curriculums, or both requirements, but in practice, we're minimizing the number of courses for students to take.
So now we'll get into our more technical coding here. So to begin, we had an Excel spreadsheet from SMU that they provide, and they keep it updated almost on a daily basis. And for example, so it's all the classes that are available that will satisfy any different parts of the UC requirements, and it's for fall 2014. There's hundreds of courses on there, and some satisfy 1 requirement, some all the way up to 5 different UC requirements. So we can kind of see some better courses throughout there. But so here we have first our set C in GAMS, and that is just all of the possible courses from that Excel spreadsheet, as well as all required courses from the EE degree plan that we got from requirements book that SMU has. So then, after having all of our classes, we wanted to set our requirements. So those requirements, we just kind of abbreviated the different UC curriculum requirements. So we have, you can see the 4 foundations, the discernment and discourse, all the way through the pillars and the proficiencies and experiences. And then down below we have EE1 through EE8, and that was just an addition to a table that you'll see in the next slide to account for all the EE requirements so that our output could be a total course package that you would take for EE and UC. So here, this is a table that kind of combines the two. On the left of the table in the rows are all the courses from the set C, and on the top columns are all of the requirements from the set R. And then this is kind of the Excel spreadsheet put into GAMS so it can be readable by GAMS. And here you see zeros or ones, and that's whether or not it satisfies a certain requirement or certain pillar or anything like that. And then on the right is just an addition to the table where we put all of the EE courses and had them set equal to 1 based on where we're going to have it required. So, for example, under EE1, there's 5 courses, but we would tell GAMS to pick one of those 5, and it would go through this and see if there was any from that list that would also satisfy UC, and hopefully pick those out. So then here, we've got a little actual more code, and this is where we tell how many we need from each requirement. So for example, you need 2 discernment and discourses, and down below you need 2 writings, 1 quantitative reasoning, 1 information literacy, etc. And so that was how GAMS knew how to go through that table and satisfy all these requirements. And so on the right is the actual kind of machine of the code that was doing the work using all these tables and sets and parameters. And so what it was doing basically is just solving a variable x, which was a binary variable, either 0 or 1, that would say for each course 0 if you're not going to take it and 1 if you are going to take it. And we actually put a little randomization in the bottom of our model that would redo the code about, I think it was 12 times, and it would give us 12 different solutions so that they're just slightly different, and you can run them over and over and get different solutions every time. So now for the output of this. Again, there was 12 different optimal solutions that we got, so this would just be one of them, and it was pages on pages of scrolling to get all the different solutions. So here you see this is 40 courses if you count them up, and so this would satisfy all of the E requirements and the UC requirements, and it's just one of the 12 solutions that would do so. And all 12 actually had 40 courses in them because once we found the original optimal solution, we set that equal to the courses taken and then let it find different selection of courses that would keep the 40 though. So here we have that, and then on the next slide, Stephen will talk about what that meant really. So
we're gonna analyze the results and kind of interpret from a managerial standpoint. So based on what Patrick said earlier on the 12 solutions from each run file, there are an output of 40 courses that satisfy both the EE requirements and university curriculum requirements. However, the model does have limitations. It did not account for 2 foreign language requirements. They are not provided in the data file from the SMU website. However, it doesn't matter, it's arbitrary. Students are free to choose any foreign language that they'd like as long as it's 2 courses. Our model also did not include the 2 courses that they need to choose from CSE 5000 level plus or EE 5000 level plus, or 1 from each. But again, that doesn't matter because students are required to take that. So if you just add those 4 courses on to the original 40 courses, that gives you a total of 44 courses. Actually the GEC takes about 44 courses, which is equivalent to our output, which means you are able to graduate in 4 years using this model. Some conclusion critiques and also some recommendations. Of course, we have the optimal number of courses is 44, which satisfy both the EE and UC requirements, which does give students a possible time for adding majors and minors to their degree plan. Some critiques, we did not include the human aspect of not wanting to take like a dance class or not wanting to take a German class. So there wasn't any aspect of preference for the student to choose from. And as well as certain courses that require prerequisites for other courses. So taking those things into account, the true number of courses will be slightly greater than 44 just due to availability of courses and student preferences. Which leads us to believe that it just kind of diminishes the purpose of university curriculum. They, try to allow students to get the most out of their education and what they want, but also requiring them to do so many things when they don't really know what they have to do is unfair for the students. Some recommendations that we made are for the Board of Advisors to evaluate not all courses, but a lot of courses in the UC tags or university curriculum tags that they fulfill. Thank you guys. Any questions?
Was there a course that kept popping up even like for all the solutions?
There's a few, like Dr. Goodman kind of calls them power courses, in a sense, and most solutions, for example, like EE 3360 was one, and it's just, you could kind of manually go through that list and see the ones that had a lot of ones across, and those would end up being the ones that were in there. So some of the ones that satisfied 5 or 6 different requirements were in almost every optimal solution. And then there was others that pretty much they just mixed and matched where there maybe be one here, one there, and so there was a lot of difference in, which is good, that there was a lot of difference in the solutions, so it gives a lot of choices for students if we want to account for preferences some on a later date.
Frankly, there's nothing to make, have you turn in a course and get tags on it. No requirement for anybody to submit their course for this curriculum. But a number of us are doing that too. I mean, this was gonna get approved for capstone as well as oral communication skills. And I got the second tag, but they quit evaluating for the first one. And I could have gotten some more on it. You guys don't need it, but maybe future people might need those for community engagement. I think we got that here too. Because that's what we do. And there were a few other ones, information literacy I could have tried to go for, but I think everybody's got that already. Take plenty of computer things and math courses. But anyway, it's a real challenge. And the dean's office, the department chairs are all working on this problem to make sure that we can achieve the goal of finishing the degree you want in 8 semesters. And have an option to take a minor or maybe even double major. Because the president of the university wants that to still be part of what we do here. But it's really pretty tough. Of course, I've been lobbying for letting the computer language count as a foreign language, and I think that would be appropriate. But we tend to get outvoted on by the Denman people on the UC committee. Yeah.
It's really interesting to see some of the tags the courses had you wouldn't expect. I mean, I remember we saw a bunch that had community engagement. I think there were some wellnesses that had community engagement, and even like the German course satisfied more tags than like some of our engineering courses. So it's kind of interesting. It seems almost a little arbitrary.
And we get the SMU's trying to create the well-rounded student and kind of, un-Americanize them, if you will. Well, I guess not un-Americanize them, but like get a more like culture and like familiar, well-rounded, but I don't know.
There may be a lot of that going on over in Denton, but not here. Yeah, well, it's a challenge. And so engineers didn't design it, and so that's why they have a problem.
It just feels like you're very included in the process.
Yeah, it seems like it's very like heavily Denman focused, and then all the other schools are like, oh, figure it out.
Is the business school having the same sort of problems?
I'm not really sure.
The other schools?
Well, I think it's just the degree requirements for engineering tend to be more hours than other schools, which is why it's created a problem for, and some degrees under engineering are having is part-time, and others, for example, like EE was by far the worst, so it just depends on the number of hours required.
One of the engineering programs have accreditation authorities, like the ABET. They've got their set of rules about what it means to have an accredited electrical engineering computer science degree. And so your program must meet that. And so with that in place and then trying to meet this other one, that's where the challenge is coming. Management science is good. I mean, we have a lot of electives there, and we've been working on 3308, for example. We have like lots of tags. Professor Goodwin keeps going back and trying to get another tag on that. And so people take that course and they got everything. But anyway, we're doing what we can, but we're in good shape. We'll have plenty of room to double major and that's the next step. Yeah, this is really for the next few classes coming in. It doesn't really hit you guys, but
Just add in our
Yeah, they're
presentation, learn some things.
yep.